Misshift. Oh, that pulls so nice. What's up, guys? Today I'm here with Ryan from Gray Market Importing, and we're taking a look at his 1990 Nissan Skyline GTS-T Type M. And so Ryan he owns Gray Market Importing, and he specializes in importing vehicles that are over 25 years old into the US. And so we're gonna take a look at it today and see what it's all about. All right, Ryan, so tell me about the engine on this.
Yeah, so the RB20 is a special engine. It's an engine we never got here in the States. It's a 2-liter inline 6, and it makes just over 200 wheel horsepower, and it's a turbo. So, yeah, it's capable of a decent amount of horsepower just from the factory as well.
The RB20 is the younger cousin of the RB26 that's available in the Skyline GTR. Okay, so I'm sure what a lot of people that are interested in this car are wondering is how available are parts for it, you know, for the maintenance and if anything breaks.
Sure. When it comes to parts, all the parts reference another part number for other Nissans for the most part. So a belt, for example, you can reference the power steering belt across like another Nissan, and you can get it that way. But you won't be able to go into your auto parts store and say, I need a part for my GTS-T.
Okay, cool. So I know you recently did the water pump, timing belt, and just kind of that service on it. Did you just did you source that locally, or did you have to get that from Japan?
I imported the timing belt along with the car, but those are parts you can get from your Nissan dealer.
All right, Ryan, so tell me more about this particular car. Like, how many miles are on it? I know it's rear wheel drive, right? Which a lot of people might not know, which makes it fun. And it's obviously, even though it's a Skyline, it's still a sedan, which some people don't even know that exists.
Right. Yeah, so it is rear wheel drive, and it does come with a limited slip differential, so you can take it down to your nearest drift event if you really want to.
All right, yeah, the sedan drift missile,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So the Type M, so we already talked about it has upgraded brakes from the factory. Do you know, is that also the LSD part of that?
No, I don't know.
Okay, but it has it.
You're right.
And this particular vehicle, you told me, is 100% stock.
Yeah,
right?
there are no modifications to it whatsoever.
Okay.
Minus the cup holders.
And then we went over new timing belt, water pump, that service, right?
Right.
Cool. And there's basically, from what you've seen, you can't find any real rust, right?
No, it was actually treated for rust. The entire underside has been painted, and then any rust components were taken off and treated properly. So.
Okay. And other than, the car's really clean, but other than that, are there any, like, you know, little things that are broken or might not work right that you know about that somebody would want to know?
The CD player doesn't work.
Okay. That's pretty easy to fix, right?
Yeah, and then Japanese radios only go up to 90 FM. So
really?
Not broken, but about the same.
All right. Okay, so something unique about this car that I noticed, the hood is insanely heavy. This car only weighs 2,888 pounds, but I'm pretty sure half of that is this hood. So I totally get where the whole need for a carbon fiber hood comes from now. So when you get a JDM car, along with it comes all the awesome JDM parts. So these headlights are solid glass. The turn signal's still plastic, but solid glass with the projector. So these fog lights on this particular one are not factory, but they're sweet projector with yellow tint. Of course, along with a Skyline, you get all the sweet Skyline badging. There's only a couple places on the whole car that say Nissan. Nothing says JDM like rear wiper blade. This particular Skyline is a Type M, which comes with upgraded brakes. It has some pretty awesome looking calipers. It looks like 4-pot Nissan calipers in the front and 2-pot in the back. All right, so the GTS-T still has that Nissan Skyline look in the back with the 2 round taillights on each side, and this one has a sweet factory spoiler too. Nothing says JDM like right-hand drive. So I'm 6'2", and sitting in here is pretty comfortable. I've got a couple inches of headroom. Steering wheel is in a pretty nice position, and I can reach it just fine. I think I have the seat all the way back right now, so you're not going to be able to completely stretch your legs out if you're as tall as me, but you can still move the pedal box just fine. Obviously right-hand drive, the shifter's on your left, and the gear positions are the same that we have in the US. So first gear is going to be over and up to the top left corner generally, and then of course second is down, and then fifth is going to be closest to you. All right, so with this being a JDM vehicle, the gauges are a little different. You've got fuel, boost, you got your speedo, which is in exclusively kilometers per hour. You have your tachometer, oil pressure, and temperature gauge. The boost and oil pressure though are in metric numbers. For controls, we got the defroster, fog lights, headlights on the right side. And then we have your wiper blade controls, your front here, rear there. And then it looks like some radio controls, and of course your hazard lights. And then down here we have automatic climate control, which is pretty cool for a 91. That's pretty advanced. 5-speed manual, and you can see the steering wheel feels great. It's made out of, it's leather wrapped, and it's in pretty good condition for its age really. And I really like the look. Of course, no airbag at this time. And the seats are they're a really nice shape and nice material. It's sort of like, I don't know what you'd call this design, but it feels soft but durable. I guess it's pretty normal for like 90s Japanese cars. And then you got floor mats, matching floor mats, and the carpet underneath looks real good. Got your cigarette lighter, ashtray, and then a little pocket here, center console, and it's pretty much, you know, these cars were really driver focused, pretty basic, not a lot of luxury per se. Then you got your controls over here for all the windows, power locks. Pretty straightforward. All right, so with the seat in a reasonable driving position up front, again, I'm 6'2". You can see that really the only issue here is the potential leg room from the driver. The headroom is, I mean, there's not a lot of extra space, but it's also not uncomfortable. So you could definitely manage. All right, here we go. All right, steering feels good. All right, so this is kind of a little weird. First, in there. Oh, feels so weird. This is my first time in a right-hand drive.
It can be a little trippy at first.
I would imagine that when you first start driving this, you probably like are on, because like you're used to being on the left side but needing to center yourself, and so now it's the opposite. So do you find yourself like at first not being in the correct part of the lane?
Yeah, that's really the only issue I had at first when I drove my first right-hand drive car, but you get used to it after like 5 minutes.
Gotcha. Whoa. And then the, okay, turn signals on the right side, which is a little different. It's got nice clutch feel. All right. Yeah, see, like I'm probably like way more, I gotta be careful about not being too like centered or like towards the center line. The gear shifts in this are really easy. Like the transmission's really nice.
Yeah. And the nice thing is reverse is over to the right and down, but from fifth to reverse there's a lockout. So you're not gonna go from fifth into reverse.
Oh, okay, cool. Do you, so to do the lockout, is it, do you have to like push down or?
No, it just automatically will not allow you to shift into reverse from fifth.
Oh, okay. So this is surprisingly quiet in here. Yeah. Like with in terms of road noise and stuff. I don't know, for like I expect the Skyline, you know, just what the Skyline is. Wow, that handles really nice. That was really flat.
Yeah.
Especially for like a factory sedan. I expect the Skyline to be, I mean, not having it in the States, my impression is, you know, the GTR being such a performance race-esque car that I kind of expect it to be, you know, loud in terms of like, you know, like no sound dampening, that kind of stuff. But this is like, this is really comfortable. Yeah, it is very disorienting being on this side of the car. Yeah, so the gear, I don't know if is the turn signal, it's almost always on the left side of cars, right?
Right.
So that is kind of reversed. And then I guess from most cars in the US, the wipers and the turn signal are backwards. I don't know.
Yeah, typically you'll have your wiper on the right side.
One thing you notice too about it is the engine is so smooth.
Yeah, and it builds boost quickly too.
Yeah, we'll have to. So what, you've had this car or you've had it in your possession a couple weeks, right?
Yeah.
So
2 weeks.
What are, just from a driving perspective, what's your favorite part about it, and what is your least favorite?
I think one of my favorite things I picked up on it is how well it's able to handle but still be kind of luxurious at the same time. Kind of what you picked up on. And then in terms of, what was the other thing?
And then what's like your least favorite? Like if you could change something about it.
I don't know that there's much I would change about it.
Yeah.
I think that I would just, if I were to have one, I think that I would make it a little bit more race spec.
Right.
A little bit lower to the ground, a little bit stiffer, more power. But I think that would probably be the only thing.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, getting used to the kilometers, that's just something like we talked about. You could probably get like somebody who makes a gauge overlay, or, I mean, obviously you can just get used to it also. If you live in the city, I mean, just going with the flow of traffic, right?
Right.
You generally, I mean, most people know, like most people that are into cars know, at least, you know, I know, like 0 to 100 kilometers an hour isn't 100 like 62 miles per hour?
Yeah.
Because that's what they always talk about, like our 0 to 60 is, they're 0 to 100 kilometers. So yeah, you're right though. It does feel, it has really nice, it's really capable in the turns, but it's really comfortable.
Yeah, and quiet.
But at the same time, you can really, like, the way that they have the steering rack and the way that the chassis set up, you can really, you feel the road.
Yes, you do.
Like you can feel what the car is doing and how it's responding to the road.
Yeah, it is definitely very responsive.
And it's got a nice pedal box for, I know you guys on the video can't hear it, but on the downshifts it's got a really nice for heel towing, you know. Yeah, gotta keep it on this side of the road. Really nice pedal box, like I was saying. Oh yeah, turbo kicks in. It's so cool that we're able to have these in the States now. What car, in the next 10 years, what car are you most looking forward to being able to import?
I think just the newer Skylines,
yeah, like,
are probably some of the most sought after right now, like the R33 and R34.
Right.
And I think those are the most awaited vehicles for the 25 year
Oh, for
long.
sure. All right, so we'll do a little acceleration here.
It usually loses traction at first, just so you're
Okay.
ready.
I'll wait till this car goes by then. Oh yeah. Whoop, misshift. Oh, that pulls so nice. Yeah, you were right. Well, this thing, I mean, there's a lot that could be improved from a new set of tires on this particular car.
Yeah, definitely.
It's, you know, it doesn't have summer tires but yeah, that was pretty exciting for sure. I can imagine that, and obviously it's a little wet out today in Oregon, but yeah, the turbo feels really nice.
Yeah, it is a small turbo, but it definitely makes a difference.
Well, and the thing about it felt like to me the power band was really linear in that it wasn't like, it didn't hit you all, it built boost up and then it held it, you know, all the way up till near red line.
Right.
And so yeah, obviously being an early 90s car, this was before they really had, there's no I mean, the only traction control is mechanical and with the LSD, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, this because the tires that are on here are a little bit older, basically all season tires, right?
Right. Yeah, my expectation was that whoever is the fortunate owner of this vehicle next, that they would replace the wheels and not keep the factory wheels.
Oh yeah, there we go, that's better. Oh, this thing's begging to have a cat back.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, even just over 200 wheel horsepower, it's pretty quick for what it is.
Yeah, no, it's a real, I mean, the thing is that what else are you gonna get? I mean, in the US, if you want something that's rear wheel drive, performance oriented sedan, I mean, your only other options, you're really looking at like a BMW, right?
Yeah. Nothing turbo.
Yeah, and so, I mean, like just this general class of car is a whole new thing for the US. You know, like, obviously, you know, to me it's sort of like, you know, a lot of people really like the WRX and the Evo because they're really practical, having 4 doors, but at the same, so, you know, if you have kids or whatever, you still have an excuse to have a car that's fun and fast, right?
But you're stuck with all-wheel drive.
Yeah, exactly. And so with this, for people who are big sports car enthusiasts, you know, that want something that's rear wheel drive, you can have it with legendary Nissan motor. I would imagine that if you really wanted to, it's probably a direct swap for an RB26.
To my knowledge, it is. I've never done it myself, but
because like you said, it's basically the RB26 is just a punched out version of this engine.
Upgraded turbo, more liters, yeah.
Right. You know, now that just being in this car just this amount of time, it's surprising, like I already feel used to the right side.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I was saying, is right when you drive it at first, it's kind of a shock.
Yeah.
But I mean, once you get down the road a little ways, you're already used to it.
Right. I think that for me, the biggest thing that is still weird though is shifting with the left hand.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel that coordinated
right.
with it. But yeah, it's really fun to be able to drive right hand drive. I mean, so you said, you know, some people that might be thinking like, oh, you know, about this car as a daily driver.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously some of the things that you just have to consider are, you know, most people know about the drive-through issue. If you're driving through Starbucks or whatever, you're gonna have to reverse through it, or get your buddy to reach over, or just stretch your arm really far,
or get out of the car,
which is always a good option. But other than that, is there anything you've run into that like, oh, I didn't think about that?
I think the only thing I realized, like if you're on an old country road, you need to pass someone. You're looking at needing to see around them to the left.
Oh, that is interesting.
So you get used to that. I mean, you just kind of slowly get over and look, but it requires you to go a little bit further over.
Right, because you can't like do the lean and peak.
Right, or you can peek on the right side of the car, but that's something I've noticed.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, there's no engine lights and it runs super well and is really solid. Yeah, the clutch feels really nice in this.
Yeah. I
could definitely see this being a great daily driver.
Definitely.
And especially with the aftermarket support for these engines is you can basically make it as fast as you want.
Right. And they're already capable of tons of power from the factory.
Yeah. And it's geared pretty aggressive too.
It is.
I'm noticing because, well, let's see here. So 100 kilometers per hour is like 60 miles per hour. So at 60 miles per hour in fifth, we're at like 2,800 RPM. But I mean, that's probably what also, if you're looking for something to, you know, track occasionally or autocross or something like that,
it's a good compromise.
Yeah, the aggressive, it's hard to get in the United States especially. It's pretty rare that cars come, you know, they're usually more geared towards fuel mileage and stuff like that.
Right.
The steering wheel, I absolutely love this steering wheel. It's just so clean looking because it doesn't have, especially in the 90s when airbags, you know, became standard, it doesn't have like the bulk.
Or all the buttons or...
Yeah, everything you need, you can touch from the steering wheel basically. And does the AC work in this?
Yeah, the AC does work.
Okay,
AC
cool.
and the heater.
That's so interesting about the FM stations.
Yeah, so I actually wasn't aware of that. I just went to test out the radio and I could only get to like 90.1 FM, so.
Interesting. Just, I guess they operate on different frequencies or something. The brakes work great.
Yeah.
And the pedal feel, I mean, you know, having obviously the 4 and 2 pot calipers, I'm sure do most of it's got a really solid pedal feel. Yeah, if you want a sporty sedan that is rear wheel drive, I don't see it getting much better than this. Ryan, thanks for letting me review your Nissan Skyline. If people are interested in it, what should they do?
Yeah, you guys can visit greymarketimporting.com, Grey. There's an email on there as well as a phone number.
All right, awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, of course.